This chapter is titled Karma Yoga. When we hear the word yoga, it probably conjures up mental images of someone with matted locks of hair and sitting in the Himalayas in a meditative posture, surrounded by ice and snow, or perhaps lying on a bed of nails, or surrounded by fire on a hot summer afternoon, or something like that. But yoga is something not as simplistically understood as in these images. The word yoga comes from the Sanskrit word yuj, which means to connect to the Supreme Lord, to connect to God. No activity or process, therefore, becomes yoga unless there is a conscious attempt to connect that activity with God. At the very least, there must be a disconnection from worldly pursuit. If one is anxious to obtain the benefits of this world, if one is desirous of the material pleasures and is very ambitious to make material advancement, then one cannot be a yogi. At the very least, one must become detached from the fruits of such endeavor. And that at the very basic level is karma yoga. And that is what Krishna is speaking about in this chapter, where he says that, Arjuna, it is better for you to fight for me than to try to renounce action. Arjuna's dilemma stems from the fact that when you perform fruitive activity or activity for some material gain, then you suffer the reactions of that. Therefore, Arjuna thinks that by giving up action, then I will avoid the reaction also. But then Krishna reminds him, my dear Arjuna, it is not possible to give up action. Every living entity in this world will be forced to act. At every moment we are acting. Even not acting is an action. So therefore, you have to act. Your nature will force you to act. Therefore, better you act for me. So acting for Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is the essence of Karma Yoga. It starts with becoming detached from the fruits of one's action. And then when one moves on, one understands that the fruits of the actions are actually meant to be offered to Krishna. And then we do that with love. And gradually we move into Bhakti Yoga. So in our day-to-day life as well, we should examine our mind. What is my motivation for working? Am I simply working because I want some name and prestige in this world? Am I working because I simply want some material comforts and some material pleasures? Is that all that I am seeking? To the extent that we have these desires in our heart and we are driven by them to enjoy them, to that degree we are not yogis. Therefore, in this chapter we learn that it is better to act out of a sense of duty in the service of the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. Thus, Krishna advises Arjuna, do not become inactive. Do not become lazy in the name of being spiritual. Many times people think, oh, you Hare Krishna people, you just sit and chant Hare Krishna all day long. But we are so busy doing so many things. First and foremost, it's not an easy task to sit and chant Hare Krishna all day long. Yes? Is it an easy thing to do? To sit and chant all day long? But even if that were possible for everyone, that's not what we are about to do. We also want to go out and act for Krishna. We want to perform so many activities for Lord Krishna in this world. So all these activities come under the domain of what we would call Karma Yoga. So Krishna tells Arjuna, stand up Arjuna, and perform your duty of fighting as a Kshatriya for my sake, and your life will become perfect.